Hello, I'm Ali from PsychicAlly.net. Just going to do the astrology readings for Monday the 20th of April through to Sunday the 26th of April. And I've done Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. I'm now going to do Leo. So a typical Leo. A Leo, they like they're very proud. They like to have a lot of attention. They like to look nice. Okay, they usually get bored easily though. They like people to entertain them. Okay, they like entertaining, but they also like being entertained. If you think about a lion, they get bored. You know, you imagine a lion pacing up and down, just sort of waiting for something good to happen. They can sometimes get a bit distracted. So if you're boring them, you might find them drifting, does that make sense, over to a better conversation, a better person of interest, you know, that sort of thing. But that's not necessarily in a love life sense. It's more in a kind of an interest. Okay, they've got a lot of interest in other people and what they're going to be talking about as well. Inquisitive mind. So that's your typical Leo. So what I'm going to do is find out what is going on in your life, Leos, from Monday the 20th of April 2020 to Sunday the 26th of April 2020. Okay, so I do this with my tarot cards. Okay, I'm not an astrologer, but I kind of have to learn about astrology via the tarot. So I've shuffled the rest of the cards. I'm just going to shuffle these. I use 3 decks. One is a general reading, the other one is a financial prediction, and then we have an emotional prediction. And I like to do 3 of those in the week. So beginning, middle, and end of the week. Okay, so let me just get started now. So I'm just going to focus on you. Okay, Leos. So right, so how it's standing at the beginning of this week, Leos, I'm seeing a very tearful person around you, or you're feeling tearful. It's like I'm seeing the tears, I'm seeing the emotions rising to the surface, sometimes out of the blue. In fact, a lot of the time out of the blue, and it's like I don't get it. I don't understand where all of this has come from. I will say that there is links with having to stand up for yourself, having to fight for what is yours. Okay, you know, someone's going to be potentially taking it away from you, or somebody's going to be thinking that they can manipulate or change things in some way. And you're going to say no, you're going to say I'm not having that. But first of all, there might be a bit of upset regarding it. How can somebody be that way? Why are they doing this to me? That sort of thing. Okay, the only way forward is to look ahead. Look at what you can do in the future. Don't look at the problem, look past it. Okay, see whatever, because whatever you concentrate on will become the main creative energy for your future. Think about manifesting. Think about the way that you can go forward. Does that make sense? With getting what you want by sheer your mental power. Your mental power is bigger and better than you realise. Okay, but it can go the other way. Does that make sense? So what I'm seeing is there's links. There's going to be some good news in the summer. Okay, so the summer's coming. It's not far away. There's going to be some really good news in the summer regarding kind of a lot of your wishes, a lot of your dreams will be manifesting. Okay, but you've got to start now. Does that make sense? Law of attraction is in 3s. Okay, so 3, you can start manifesting something in your mind now, and it will be, you know, 3 days you'll start to see some sort of result from that. Then 3 weeks it might get bigger, 3 months even bigger, even, you know, to have the point. If it's a very big thing that you want, you know, sometimes it takes longer than that, but you've got to be continual about it, and you've got to think to yourself, well, if I change my mind halfway through, then that gift that I've manifested for myself will go back on the shelf, and I'll have to reorder it. okay, and then I've got to wait for the delivery again. Does that make sense? So that's how it kind of works. So they are saying that manifest for something in the summer, because it's really a good time to do that. It's linked with your ambitions. It's linked with something that you've already started. Okay, now you might have already started it ages ago but left it. This will kind of come about again. All right, opportunities. Okay, so there might be some issues regarding something to do with vehicles, okay, travel plans and vehicles. Just be aware, does that make sense, that you might change your mind, or a plan might start this way and have to go a different way, okay? So just be aware that it's a changeable feeling I'm getting around vehicles and transport at the beginning of this week. Now, emotionally, it's a bit of a test going on emotionally. How am I going to cope with this person? How am I going to cope with this situation? I don't usually cope very well with it, okay? So you're kind of testing yourself, testing the strength of you. I feel that there's somebody who's blocking you out at the moment. They're not able to cope with you, communicate with you. They just want to stay kind of in their own little bubble. Remember, when I do readings, sometimes it's like you might be playing one part, and I'm picking up, you're playing the other. So, you might play the lead role, you might be the person, so you might be the person who is actually doing the shutting out. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So there's a shutting out feeling, not communicating, being very difficult, and the other person is thinking, this is a darn test. What have I got to do to convince this person? Okay, so there'll be that sort of feeling. Okay, so moving forward then to the middle of this week for Leos. Leos, don't be surprised if something that you have learnt, okay, either in the past or in the present, is going to get you quite a bit of money, okay? Respect money, and the expertise that you have within this field will definitely be noticed, okay? So keep on. Does that make sense? So don't give up. Don't give up. Now is not the time to give up a plan that is seeming to be working, to do with knowledge, wisdom, your expertise. Okay, so this is something that you know that you can make money out of. Okay, it's that. Okay, it's also something that you're passionate about and that you love. Okay, so it's a win-win situation. So if this isn't your main job, then don't be surprised if a side job doesn't come up, linking to what you actually enjoy doing and starting to make money. Okay, there's going to be enough. See, this has come up in every single reading so far. Now I've said it. I've got to say it in every reading that I do. Every video, because otherwise you'll think, what's she talking about? I'm trusting the cards. I'm trusting what they're saying. What I'm doing is I'm shuffling the cards with the intention of what is going to be happening in each of the astrology signs. But there is a common thing coming up again with every card, with every reading. We've got the same thing. An announcement will be made, okay, around the middle of this week, okay, an announcement, and it's going to be from somebody in authority, and it's going to have an effect on lots. Okay, it's like something will be known, information will be out there, you will be your draw will drop. Does that make sense? With the announcement of what it is, more so than we've got now. Obviously, this would have to be something a bit different, or more so. It's not to do with that. Yeah, they're telling me it's something that is a new thing that's going to come up, that's linked with an announcement. Okay, so yeah, be prepared, because it's literally come up in every single person's every single astrology video I've done so far. Okay, so we're still the middle of this week, aren't we? Okay, so the valuelessness. Sometimes we feel like that. Sometimes we feel as if our efforts are not being appreciated. If you are aware that your efforts aren't being appreciated with somebody else, then you might need to make some changes there, because it will be noticed. People will be saying, well, what about me? Why why haven't you appreciated it? You might be saying that to someone else. Okay. It's time to forgive yourself. Okay. It's time to say, yes, I can do better, and I will try to do better, but I am doing the best I can with what I've got. Okay, with the information I've got, with the emotions that I actually have, and with how much I'm already coping with. Okay, you need to start forgiving yourself, because I think you're being a bit hard on yourself, or someone else around you is. Okay, because they're just saying, just ease up on that. Okay, obviously I do readings as well. And sometimes I get stuff that's really profound, and I think, oh, hold on a minute, I'm going to write that one down. Now, this one I'm going to say to you. Imagine that you are the mother to your inner child. Just let that process a minute. So, if you're the mother to your inner child and you start to say bad things about you, you're criticizing yourself, or you're allowing someone else to criticize you and laugh away at it. Imagine an inner child and how that inner child feels. Okay, mother is laughing at me. Mother is criticizing me. That is going to affect your it's going to affect your confidence. It's going to affect how you are going to cope with things in the future. If you feel as if you're being clumsy, or being told you're clumsy, you'll probably be more clumsy. Does that make sense? Because you're like aware. So this is your inner child. You need to give it as much compliments as you possibly can. This is what they say. I'm going to put this seat thing up. This is what they say, isn't it? About they say this about children. We believe in all of the good things. Does that make sense? We believe in all the bad things that people say. We don't necessarily think about the good stuff. That doesn't kind of sink in. But if you give yourself a compliment, you'll feel like a little fizz inside. Okay. So I just felt as if I needed to say that to you particularly. You might give this information out to somebody close to you. Does that make sense? So it may not be necessarily for you exactly. You might be very kind to your inner child, but maybe somebody else needs to hear. Okay, so this is the end of the week now for Leos, Monday 20th of April to 26th of April. Okay, so feeling a little bit overwhelmed by emotions. Okay, and this is linking around a father figure, fatherly character, somebody who is kind of in a bit of an authority feel. When it's like, I don't want to get depressed about it, or I don't want to feel these feelings. So there's something that you're trying to process, and you're not doing too good about it. Okay, so I know what Leos are like. What they kind of do is, oh, I can't deal with that right now. I'm going to go and play, I don't know, on the Xbox, or I'm going to go and play, I'm going to take my mind off it completely. And they don't deal with it. Does that make sense? Because they're bored with that. That's a boring feeling. Okay. Emotions are rising to the surface. Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm going to go and do this. Okay. But I do feel as if something does need to be spoken of, or something does need to be addressed. I'm not one of these people who think that you have to open up your emotional past, left, right and centre, have a little dig. Okay, if it's not affecting your life in the now, then sometimes we have to put it down to, that was an experience. Pain is a pain until you turn it into an experience, and then the experience changes the pain into an experience. So I know that doesn't sound quite right, but if you imagine that when we're emotional about something, it is an emotional pain. Later on in life, it becomes an experience. And if we can learn how to switch it quicker, does that make sense, into an experience, we don't have to keep prodding it about. Does that make sense? We can say, yeah, that bloody was awful. Anyway, what am I going to do for dinner? Do you see what I mean? Sometimes we have to rise above things, because we don't want to be known as being victims. We don't want to be known as always having bad stuff happen to us, and talking about it all the time, because whatever you're talking about is going to get bigger, or you're going to get more of it. So keep it down to a minimum. Does that make sense? About things that you haven't got, things that you've gone through. but there's definitely something that you're having to address. Does that make sense? But the advice is get it out in the open, address it, then put it back in the box, put it on the shelf, okay, or burn it. You might not need it anymore. You've got strong psychic ability. I believe this about everybody. I really, really do. But whoever is listening to this will be aware. Does that make sense? That they have this ability. Start to think about the things that you know, and you think, well, how did I know that? I wasn't told. It's just a feeling that I have. So go with that. I do feel that there is looking at the pros and cons in lots of things. So I think you're going to be weighing things up a lot. And emotionally, at the end of this week, be aware that somebody around you is not dealing with their emotions. So, you know, I've been talking about your emotions. Maybe you talking about yours will trigger off someone else's. Okay, maybe the experience that you had is a shared experience with somebody else. So just kind of have a think about that. Does that make sense? It's better to deal with it. You know, what we can do is if there's somebody who's been nasty to us, write their name backwards and put it in a tiny little piece of paper, screw it up into a tiny ball and put it at the back of a freezer. Okay, you always say, and let this be done that it harm no one. You are not doing it to intentionally hurt anyone. You have to make sure that you do that. Okay, but what this does is it freezes that person's energy out of your life. You start to feel a bit stronger. You know, or, you know, go to the beach if you can, you know, and throw a pebble into the sea and just say, this represents the pain that I'm feeling, and give it a lob it into the sea. There's all sorts of things. Garden, write it down on a piece of paper and bury it in the garden. You know, sometimes these little things, processes do help, because it's the intention. It's not necessarily the process. It's the intention of taking control of a situation. Okay, and I think that's what's going to be big for you at the end of this week, Leos. Okay, so I hope that helped, and if you ever want to contact me, you're welcome to. Like I said, the website, PsychicAlly.net, ALLY. Just come and say hi. Let me know what you think. Okay, take care, bye.